Welcome back, Keepers of the Flame. Merry, happy, brilliant, lovely solstice after the new moon and Three Eye Atlas passed by. I did a little bit of an interpretation, translation of that yesterday. Um, I don't feel comfortable posting the full download on the internet. So, um, moving forward, what we can remember, especially for the holidays, and then probably for the rest of our lives, because this is just how life is now. Yay! Okay, so, um, wireless navigating the terrain, um, which for me is freshly filled with snow. Boobity boobity boo. The tips and tricks for getting through the holidays, through the whatever, through life. Fuck it. Who cares what occasion this happens to be? So the number one thing I want to probably check off the list is the labeling and disregarding. So we have this really creepy, it's really creepy movement where people are soulless. People don't have souls. And I mean, unless you're looking in that realm for detection, somebody who's quiet and reserved and doesn't get involved, are they soulless? Somebody who never talks, doesn't answer questions, doesn't appreciate other people's company is soulless? What are we talking about here? Like, okay, if you inhabit one of these, you have to have an anchor, and that is your soul. It doesn't just leave your body and you walk around as a zombie. When it leaves your body, everything stops working. Those are the rules. Like, I didn't make the rules, but like, people seem to think that there's literal, like, even if it is a robot, okay, let's say it was. Let's say there's NPCs. Let's say there's people that are not real and they are just skin over a metal suit or a metal mechanical robot thing. Whatever. I'm not saying they don't exist. I am not saying they don't exist. What the hell are you going to accomplish by creating a movement where people are, it's just okay for those people to, do you see what I mean? Like, if you don't take that subconscious undercurrent all the way, instead of like, I just really don't like this person and I feel bad and I need it to stop, so I'm gonna make them into something that they need to be in order for me to justify ignoring my own problems. That's all it is. It's you ignoring every single solitary thing that you need to deal with within yourself and constantly having to say, oh, this person this, and this person that, and this person this, and this person. Okay? So, number one, you just made yourself a red flag. Don't do that. Okay. Number two, you do have some things that you need to address and attend to. And they're not bad things. You were hurt, you were harmed, you're wounded. It's reasonable for you to be like, how the fork, you know? And then whatever. But don't let somebody else jack you around and say, oh, you just found a soulless person or an NPC or whatever the fuck it is. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. You have no control over that person. You have control over this. The moment you make them the God in your life, which is what the narcissist narrative does, you are the victim, they are the deity, the demon, the deity. Deity is 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 a demon. Demon. Go look it up. It's Latin for deity. You just made them a god, and you are the little peon ant. Knock that off. Knock it off. You are perpetuating a narrative of your own suffering. Drop it. Okay. So there's where your labeling needs to stop, because you are your main character, whether you want to admit that or not. You're co-creating. It is a co-creation manifestation that we are all in. We don't escape it. But we do have a choice where we put our time and attention and energy. And when we're putting it on a narrative where somebody else is way above us and we're just a little squishy squish under the freaking boot, yeah, can't imagine why that keeps happening. Stop it. Just drop the narrative. Just be like, that's a human being having a really difficult experience that I don't need to involve myself in. Shocking. I know. Shocking. So, when we are with family, out and about, in the community, whatever else, stop labeling. Stop it. Drop. I'll finish. That is unfortunate. They must have had a really bad experience, or a lot of really bad experiences. Oh, there's some beautiful little birdies in my book. Okay, sorry. Oh, hi, baby. Sorry, Juncos. They're my oh, and a little red finch. Hi, babies. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm okay. I love little birds. Okay. Anyway, so drop the narrative where where we have to be a certain character in a play, because you're not a character in a play. It's real life. These are real human beings, and no, you don't have to give them anything you don't want to give. Okay, that's not a requirement. You are not obligated to give them anything you don't want to. That's a subconscious undercurrent belief that a lot of women especially have been indoctrinated. If you happen to be a younger sibling, male or female, that's probably nailed into your, and then the middle just gets ignored. And then the oldest, if you're not perfect, why are you even here, right? Okay. So I see you, I hear you, don't panic about it, but don't start labeling people. Because the moment you stop labeling people, you're not going to get offended by labeling. Okay, you don't care if you're the villain in somebody's era or not. You don't care. It's not important. You know what's in here, so what comes out there does not. It doesn't affect you. And that's by design. That's on purpose. It's because once you get to a certain point, you're not going to need somebody else coming in and telling you jack diddly squat. Do you need to self-reflect? Yes. That's not excusing self-reflection. That's not saying, oh, you're absolved of every wrongdoing from here on out. Oh, fuck no. No, you are even more responsible at that point. This is not... Okay. So when you have a narrative that you are setting forth for yourself and everybody else around you, okay, and you push out that narrative, whether that human being on the outside of you is that way or isn't that way, doesn't even matter anymore. You are going to force them into that role based on the narrative you keep perpetuating in your own life. This is a really difficult pill for people to swallow. Okay. When we can realize that we are not responsible for other people's energy, we can only co-create there. That is a choice. That is not a command. That is not a demand. That is a choice to co-create. And no, I'm not talking about children. I am talking about merging your energetic fields through consent that says, yes, I want to engage in a conversation that's meaningful, deep, intimate, whatever the hell it is, with this person or with these people. It can be, you know, a group of family members that all sits down and talks about, you know, hey, grandma's really having a rough time being by herself right now. Can we maybe take turns helping her throughout the week? Or do we need to bring somebody into the house to check on her? Does she need to have extra care? Or are we going, what are we looking at? Those are the conversations you open your heart for, okay? or the conversation that, hey, I'm at a crossroads and you've been my rock, and here we are at a lovely family function, and blah 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 blah. And there's so many people out there right now that are at the crossroads. We're like, well, so when we have an opportunity like we're about to have, some of us, not all of us, I'll probably go live on Christmas, actually. But the narrative is where we come to a space of community. We come to a common space of comprehension of each other's existence. Okay? And we embody self-respect. Not even self-love, just self-respect. Okay? A little bit of self-confidence, some harmony, and we bring that to the table. That's the first thing we put on our plates at Christmas. Self-respect, a little bit of self-confidence, and harmony. Those are the things we embody. Now, how am I going to do this? Okay, so salt baths help. So maybe the night before Christmas, all throughout the house, not a creature was stirring except for, the swirly in the bathtub with my little rubber ducky, right? So take a salt bath. I know it didn't rhyme. I can't help it. Okay, so sigils on the body. So you could write down whatever you want to embody for that day, not what you want to happen on the outside. That's everybody else's responsibility. Cheese and rice, kids. This whole thing about magic and whatnot getting a little out of control. The moment you can see that somebody else has power outside of you, is you just told the person, the people, the community, the globe at large, and the entire ethos that you are complete, utter powerless. Okay, that's the vibration people, when they have to parasite or vampire off of other people, you're putting out the narrative. Hey, I can't. And then the universe is like, look, they can't. And that's, they're literally pointing their finger. Look, they can't. You're telling the universe, and the universe is like, you're always right. I don't know what you're... Okay, sure. Are you sure you don't want to change that? All right, fine. You can be that way. So, the universe will keep rewarding me with that same pattern, frequency, whatever. Okay? Then, okay, so sigil on the body, whatever that looks like for you. And you just write, cross off all the double letters, and then put it into a sigil, stick it someplace. You can do it in Sharpie. It's up to you. Whatever the heck you want to do. I know Sharpie's not that great for the body, but I whatever. Or you can put it on a piece of paper and stick it in your pocket, wherever you got to do. Or you could temporarily scry it on a crystal and then put that in your pocket, whatever it is, right? So the anti-bullying, I think I gave this to you in a previous episode, but so you're at the table and Uncle Harry, sorry, I'm bad with names. Okay, Uncle Harry says something stupidly atrocious to your, teenage cousin who's, maybe doesn't dress up in whatever, right? He's got black clothes on, or she's got, dark makeup, whatever the hell it is. The the vetting process that we do to keep people the fuck away from us. The narrative then becomes, right, you know, let's make this the person the target because I'm uncomfortable with my feelings. So Uncle Harry's just revealed himself for being a very insecure person for not having the galls to dress and act how he wants to. Okay, that's what Uncle Harry's doing. He's just telling the entire table, I'm really insecure to the point where I'm going to pick on somebody else that's half my size and a fourth of my age and see how that plays out. Okay, so because Uncle Harry could be over there, hey kid, cool shirt, tell me about the band, tell me about the whatever. Uncle Harry has choices. We all have choices. We all fucked up too. So don't, again, the labeling, okay? So remembering that we're visualizing energy here and patterns. So that's an insecure energy. He's got a pattern. You already know it. That's why you got the sigil, right? So rather than be like, shut the fuck up, Uncle Harry, we can say something to this effect, which will in turn probably pinky swear every single solitary family function. You will now be mandatory attendee. Just so you're aware, I'm not here to spring any surprises on you. It will be mandatory, and you will have to put up a fuss when you say no. Okay, so that's gonna happen. And number two, nobody's gonna fuck with anybody in your presence that is in earshot of what you're about to say. Okay, so anti-bullying tactic number one. How is that helping? Because that's, now he's got to answer his own freaking questions. Okay? Okay. And what was the goal behind that comment? What was your intent, goal, agenda, whatever the heck you want to, whatever. Take that freaking chariot and do a freaking Yui, okay? Just divert the train back to Harry and see what comes of it. But that's all you need to do. So if you're worried about bullying people, and if he says it to you, or you know, Auntie Anne says something like, okay, right? Is that going to help me? How is that helping me? And what was the goal behind that statement? How did you think that was going to land with me? So there's your anti-bullying tactics. Then white lights around everybody before you even walk in the house. White light around yourself, white light around, you know, your partner, your children, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, whoever you're attending, you know, walking in with. White lights first. Home base, okay? Then radiate that out around everybody else in the whole entire room. Okay, and I'm not saying that you have to give hugs to everybody. If you're not the huggy type, don't do it. Okay? This is not a white light is just a visual or a energetic happy holiday gesture that you don't need to tell anybody about. Okay? Then we have topics that are not going to piss everyone off, hopefully. And if they do, okay. Food. Everybody needs to eat. And I know everybody has their preferences and whatever else, but it's okay to have preferences. It's okay to have preferences. It's okay to know the nutritional value. Just say thank you. I will take that into consideration. Okay? Animals, talk about your pets, talk about, you know, how much you love otters and whales and giraffes or whatever the heck it is, right? Horses, whatever. Talk about one happy thing. You could put on a comedy special. You play games. Put some puzzles in front of people. especially the elderly who can still see, crafts of any sort. Or you can talk about crafts with your auntie. Be like, I just did this, blah, 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 blah. I mean, granted, you probably don't want to tell her about that weird ass painting with the... Anyway. So, and then you talk about art, gardening. Gardening is huge. Push gardening on everybody. Everybody should have a little garden. Let's do a garden this year. Blah, 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 blah. Okay? Give them some tools, tips, pointers, or listen to tools, tips, pointers. Ask the gardener and their family to just fucking vomit their intel all over the table. They will be more than happy to do so. Pinky motherfucking swear. Travel. What did you travel to? Did you go to the park and see this? Did you blah, 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 and go see that? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. Nature. Talk about nature. Oh, look at the bird. I know. Okay. So, so those are some safe topics to kind of stay on. I wouldn't, forbid anybody from talking about religion or politics or what's the other forbidden one? I feel like there's a third one. No religion, no politics. But I wouldn't forbid people. I would just say, you know, it's hard to be, I'm trying to keep the peace here. You know what? Screw it. Start a riot. Be like, you know what? I don't think people should die because other people don't like them. That's what I would say. That's just my humble opinion. Nobody needs to die for somebody else's fucking opinion, okay? And I, you know, if you don't believe that, you don't need to say that. But I would just keep it short and sweet. Nobody needs to die for anybody else's opinion. No lie sold. Okay? And they might disagree with that. They might think, you know, whatever. And yes, people do have some very toxic and demented and harmful beliefs. Abso-fucking-lutely. Should they die for it? No. But should they be said, hey, did you know you're manifesting this for yourself and your family and your tribe? Did you know that? Yeah, that's what you're doing. So I'm sorry that no one told you that's what you were doing directly, but that's what you're doing. So there's your history. You have the history there that confirms that for you. And then you have it. It's directly written in your textbooks as well. So please do read the fine print on your soul contracts. This is why I don't like atheism. Because they're like, it's just a bunch of jargon. Yeah, except for those narratives seem to keep running on the planet. Weird, huh? Okay, so when the shitteth hitteth the fan, and probably going to because, well, I haven't looked at the astrology directly for that day, but I don't think it's going to be too fantabulous. So I think Mars, I can't remember when Mars is supposed to enter Capricorn. And so the spicy notch doesn't need to be taken off entirely. It just needs to be directed appropriately. This whole completely disarm yourself movement is not very wise either. Oh, love and light. May we blah, 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 blah. If you hadn't noticed, that movement's not doing us any good right now. We've been high-vibing so long and nothing's coming to fruition. Can't imagine why that might be. Okay. So, yeah, we gotta create a different movement. We just gotta get off the spiritual BS train and get onto something that's more grounded in reality. And this is why I kind of got away from cards too, because the archaic narrative is perpetuating itself through those cards. Oh. This is why I've never liked the Rider-Waite tarot, is because that narrative is energetically latched on to you now because they just perpetuated it onto you via the cards. So we do have to be very diligent about how we're working with these energies. And again, I'm coming up with ways to get it out into the populace in a gentler way, other than, could you please stop fucking humanity? And I haven't figured it out yet. So again, I don't even have, this is, you know, I love this deck. I love this deck because it gives you it shifts the energy. It literally shifts the energy. And I think, I'm pretty sure the one Rider-Waite I did have, I gave it away. And this one, I love this deck too. I got a lot of decks over here. That one shifts the energy too. So we're gonna have a difficult time ripping people out of this death grip that they have on cards and traditional divination modalities, because that's carrying the same energy from hence it was created, and we are not going to do very well if we perpetuate that narrative into the future. So all these brilliant artists, divination, and people who are shifting out of that modality or narrative on society, yeah, we're shifting out of the archaic, creepy, patriarchal, and shifting into something else. And I don't think it's going to be matriarchy either. I don't think it's going to have to, I don't think women are going to have to fight too hard anymore for positions of power, because the internet wants you to think one thing, but what's happening in the streets is another. The thing that we do need to remember, conceive of, is that there is a concerted effort from the government to make as many people null and void as possible. And this is, I don't think this is just in the US. I think this is especially in white communities, white cultures, if you want to say, throughout the globe. I think the null and voidness is coming, and that's why I don't want to use cards anymore either, is because it has that religious connotation to it, which ties you into their narrative of not goodness, not happiness. So it's all coming back full circle, and that's, you know, shoot, fucking sucks. But again, the archaic narrative needs to be flushed out of the system. If it's not flushed out of the system, you know, it's gonna, it's not a haunting this time. Not a haunting. So it's a good idea to flush it out. Any Abrahamic narrative that's based on any Abrahamic thing. And I know that, like, I think some of the energetic tarot came from the Egyptians, and then you know, the Greeks and the Romans took it on, and then, you know, blah 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 blah, and it trickled down from there. What I'm telling you is those communities went through shite as well, and we're perpetuating the narrative of crapola. So just be mindful. I'm not telling you to stop reading energy. I'm telling you to ease off the cards. Okay? Especially if it's Rider-Waite, traditionally based. Because again, that energy is directed back to that hierarchy, the Hierophant, the heir to the eye of illusion. Okay? If you don't believe me, just go look up the word. write the word out. Air, we know what that is. Like the, the person who gets the whatever, whether it be Pentacles or knowledge, wisdom, whatever the hell it is. It's the person who gets the stuff handed back or down to them or over to them or whatever the hell it is, right? O is the traditional symbol for spirit. The traditional symbol for spirit. Okay. And that means that you are receiving whatever it is, wisdom, yada yada yada, knowledge, yada yada, Hierophant, right? Okay. And then Fant is phantom, illusion. So you're given the illusion of power, knowledge, wisdom, and whatever else, and that's what you're the heir to. Who the fuck wants that? Okay. So I just saw a video the other day. There was like a picture of a monk walking down a flight of stairs, and all the wealthy, rich people, including the king himself, was bowing down to just a monk in regular garb. And I was like, that is illusion, isn't it? So be careful with that. Be careful with the illusions. Don't get too disillusioned, but don't invest in the systems that are parasiting you either. That's the problem, is we think reality is like, oh, we've got to do this and do this and then do this because that's what everybody else is doing. So the 3D is parasiting us, enslaving us. And then we've got however many D's you're at, giving you new illusions. This is the Saturn Neptune thing, right? So we've got to find that balance. Where's the Libra? Where's the balance? Okay? Where's the balance? Help me find the balance. How can I be more balanced today? How can I be surprised and show me how good it can get, right? So let yourself wander free, but then say, okay, I have this beautiful little nugget that I found in this like Neptunian space. How do I ground this in the Saturn? How do I ground this in the real world? How do I bring this down to the earth? Okay, so things to think about before you go to your family function. Okay, I'm just packing the 33 minutes in. So may your holidays be bright and merry and all that good jazz. Happy solstice. It's a beautiful day. Have a wonderful Christmas, New Year's, all that good stuff. If you don't get back here before then, I'll try to go live on Christmas. Keep your